I have been playing Naraka Bladepoint, a Chinese battle royale with fighting game mechanics. I have amassed hundreds of videos for this, and I have played just about 750 hours. I am still just a newbie, barely silver level in skill, but the player base for the game has played for years, and there are extremely few players anywhere near my level. So each and every single game is exceptionally difficult. These are some of the highlights from the last half month of games. Consider them a benchmark, a milestone for my current progress trying to break into this product.
Jesus.
Okay. I'm bad at this video game, honestly. There's people over here? Looks like bots, maybe?
That's one of my ults. Okay, and then drop.
Okay.
Exploded.
It. Someone's reviving here.
Yeah?
It's him! Get him! It's him! Okay. He's dead.
My ult's bad.
All right. Wait, what? There's a person here.
Getting balled. Fuck me.
Well, I hear the Hattie bot.
I hear a hottie bot.
Wow. What the fuck was that? I think those are both players, actually. I had no regrets blowing my ult on that, honestly. Bots killed every single one of the players. These are players. I'm not sure why you're trying to fight me underneath my Bane, but okay. He's the only one that's alive.
Got the balls. There's another team coming. Okay. Oh god.
Okay. Heal. Heal.
Use your ult.
Thanks.
お前たちの命の道は俺が断ち切った。
Stuck.
My inventory has... Well, I'm gonna drop one of the hard stoppers.
That's what I was doing. Every time they went after me is just start rolling and they would lose me. I rolled right through another dude and they just started...
This is the Mom Pounder build. This is what Mom Pounder does.
hate that you put it that way.
This is literally his name.
That's what he does.
This is what he does.
Just rolls.
Just rolls. I said he was doing that Dark Souls grind. That's what he does. He rolls. I killed someone, that's what's going on. He thought he was gonna get sassy on me? Ha! Ha! These are not bots.
I think these are bots. I don't know if you can.
I got a whole team. I thought those were bots.
Let's check this one over here.
Dipping slow. Keep off the road.
Lol.
How are two of us still on blue armor? Oh, you guys are.
私に出会えた。私の足元にひれ伏しなさい。魂が
It's them again. Got one.
Viper is in the building after me.
Yeah, I killed her. She's dead. Nope, you found a random dude.
Excuse me. Fuck you, can't place that there. What are you gonna do about it?
I think you're gonna die. You're gonna die.
Yes.
I think you killed the other dude. I saw an eliminate on another dude out of nowhere. The path to re-entering in competitive gaming for the first time since 2017, when I regularly played Heroes of the Storm at Diamond level, in ranked teams and in quick match, has been difficult, has had its ups and downs, most certainly more downs than ups. These are just a handful of selection of the fights that looked good, or at least were competitive from my viewpoint. But in reality, anybody who has even the slightest shred of experience in this game will point out a million things that are wrong. I can point out a million things that are wrong, but getting back into the mindset of having fast and accurate reflexes after so many years of fairly lackadaisical computing on top of all the real-life insanity, well, that's been quite the tall order. Perhaps one of the most important things and the greatest hurdle I will ever have to overcome in my entire life in terms of this kind of content is dealing with the button mashing, the terrible habits I learned from competitive World of Warcraft, League of Legends, and again Heroes of the Storm. Also accommodating for all the different timing changes that are necessary in this product because of the wild netcode and the extremely high ping latency that I have. Beyond the fact that most of my competitive playtime is in turn-based games, like for example Dark Souls or World of Warcraft, I still have to deal with the fact that this game has an exceptionally high mechanical learning curve to it. Much of it comes down to muscle memory. Never mind the fact that I have to deal with building two D&D projects that occupy the vast majority of my time, the game project that is Apex X. My time for Naraka is fairly split, and I'm not really sure where it is I should be trying to train or practice. While I've had some coaching from Dale Deer, I still don't really have a direction that I should be going in. I play a handful of characters, none of which very competently, and I've dabbled in a couple of others, as you've seen, but nothing really noteworthy. I'm not particularly good with any of the weapons, but I'm certainly worse with some than others. Certainly, tunnel visioning has been a long-lasting problem in all of my competitive sprees. It's just that within the other games, I could afford to tunnel vision onto certain things. I almost always played DPS characters, so all I really had to worry about was doing damage and survival. When it came to things like initiation or environmental awareness, that's where some weaknesses began to show, especially when it came to something larger scale. I know how to perform several basic combos within this game. A staff juggle using crouching, the longsword grapple juggle into uppercut, and some other things like that. But actually remembering to perform them within the actual gameplay, well, that occurs maybe once every couple days at most. I've never actually been able to perform the staff combo on a player outside of customs, because I never seem to know when I'm actually going to hit them, and it always comes as a surprise when it does happen. Therefore, although I can render myself a pest for upper level players, I never actually have kill confirming ability. One of the things I have tried to focus on is locomotion. I have watched a lot of videos from Pandaman and Mike, and Hypernova's wave dashing video was one of the first pieces of content I was exposed to when I started. Locomotion to me is one of the more important things. Being able to survive and escape and navigate the battlefield quickly and effectively seems to be a key thing, especially when it comes to duos and trios, which I've played most often within the last couple months because solo ranked is absolutely hopeless, and I'll go 20-30 games without getting a single kill. However, another major problem is that I am a reflex player. Everything I do in life is based on reflexes. And you can't play by reflexes in this game unless you're playing on the CN servers with their 14 ping. If you try to reflex in this game, you get what often happens to me. The 50-50 dice roll of your parry actually registering or not. Trying to premeditate what people are doing, and trying to anticipate when to try to parry or dodge or do anything of that nature, that is not something that's really ingrained into my mind. The last time I took fighting games seriously was back in the days of Soul Calibur 2, and that wasn't competitive by any stretch of the imagination. I don't mind dying miserably. After all, I'm quite accustomed to playing games like Brood War, but only if it involves me actually learning something from it. And a lot of times, especially in solo, I don't feel like I'm learning anything at all. Navigation in this game is an absolute pain in the ass. It doesn't feel responsive most of the time. The mantling, the ledge climbing, and things abducting you at random. It is frustrating, and being able to navigate is extremely important, but being able to do it fluidly and not getting hooked on geometry is way more annoying than it should be. A lot of the difficulty curve in this game is henceforth artificial. The locomotion in my game is substantially superior, and that's just using shit that's mostly free, and a few things I cobbled together on my own. But this is Unity. Everything is like pulling teeth. Coupled with the extremely high latency, and the fact that I am an extremely old person for playing video games, and you have yourself quite the learning curve just at the get-go. Most of the people who we are playing against within these games have played for at least a year. Even when it comes to individuals who are getting bullied in Quick Match, almost all of them have more days on their account than I do. What gives me a small edge is the fact that I've been building ARPGs for the last 5 years, and as the genre have LP'd the most. But very little of what I've done within the last 15 years in terms of recordings can actually be applied to Naraka. It's basically like learning from scratch, because the fighting game mechanics are completely different than those in, for example, BlazBlue, which I was never able to get that much into anyways because of my arthritis. It's easy for me to get overwhelmed in this game. My lazy eye problems are compounded tenfold, especially within team games. Trios in particular is virtually incomprehensible. Although I'm able to navigate duos to an extent, I'm just not mechanically good enough to keep up. And a lot of the times, even though it feels like I have reflexes, my mind just doesn't quite react to certain things like it should. It's probably age beginning to show. And the fact I haven't been competitively tested in a game for many years. What became obvious during my time with Dale Deer is that I need dedicated coaching at this point. I have never gone through any kind of coaching for anything I have ever done within my entire life. I've always been able to learn off of watching competitive videos and adapting things based on that. Since I grew up with Brood War, being able to follow it as a spectator wasn't necessarily difficult by any stretch of the imagination, and certain things I was able to perform within a competitive environment. For example, certain micro, such as stop moving or patrol moving, particularly with Corsairs and Vultures. But beyond that point, however, when we started reaching, for example, map awareness and macro scale, and scaling up my attention, that's where things really began to fall apart. Within a fighting game, that's a little less important, but it does manifest. For example, keeping track of enemy cooldowns is one of the more important things, especially when you're fighting against blatantly overpowered heroes like Volda. I need someone who actually has the skills, not necessarily just to play the game, but also to figure out where precisely my weaknesses are, to highlight those and address them point by point. And more importantly, I need a strategy for overcoming things like the button mashing and other kinds of things that are holding me back in other mechanical departments. There are so many different ways that the parry system is handled in this game alone, much less before you enter things like when to parry. For example, the timing differences between parrying out of a blue or not, or the timing differences between different weapons, that it is a lot to take up. That's a lot to keep track of, and yet this is necessary to enter even the intermediate portion of gameplay within this product at this time. Since I am balancing the enormous workload of 2 D&D projects that are years behind, I don't really have a lot of time to focus on this. But even if I did, I feel like I'm at the stage where spamming games will no longer give me much improvements. I'm at the stage where I need some kind of targeted training, coaching, something that I can actually work towards. Perhaps that is as simple as starting to learn combos and trying to work those into my muscle memory. Something I have tried to put some effort into, but I don't really know what combos I should be going for. For example, my efforts to learn combos on Zai's ult have been all for nothing, and there isn't really a lot of data out there or a lot of current videos that I can reference to know how to actually play the game. Beyond mechanical things like that, however, there's a lot of things in these games that are just plain silly. For example, trying to chase around Hattie or Feria takes a tremendous amount of time, and killing people who just do nothing but roll is uncomfortably slow. I have managed to lose games against a Kurumi that lasted for 10 minutes doing nothing but rolling and healing because I just didn't know how to lock them down. Eventually the zone closed in and I ended up dying to the zone because I got super impatient. They almost never attacked me, never parried me, never did much of anything, but I still couldn't close the game in any amount of time. There's a tremendous difference between someone like me, who doesn't really know how to deal with this kind of shit, and other people who can somehow lock me down in an instant and keep me from getting anywhere. I don't even know where to even begin to try to address those kinds of problems. There isn't really resources out there to do so. And other than playing games with Mucky, the highest level player who got me into this game, there isn't really any reference material for me. I have 750 hours in this game, but I still don't feel like I've even begun to scratch the basics. I don't think I'll live long enough to really get good at it, and I'm not sure that the community or game within North America will live long enough either. but I'll probably continue to play it for some time yet, just because there's really nothing else on the market that is worth putting my time into. And the competitive aspects of this game have given me some ideas on how to evolve my own project, should I ever be able to work on it again. I never played a battle royale prior to Naraka. I'm not sure if it's something I really have much of an opinion about within this context. I can't see playing any other kind of battle royale. This is the kind of game that I have been trying to build for a long time, just in terms of the control mechanisms. There's a lot of things that would change within Naraka, of course, but I've been playing the third-person action game for quite some time, casting, commentating, analyzing, and reviewing all kinds of mainstream and niche products. This is about as niche as it really gets in the West, and yet at the same time, it feels the most feature complete out of any of the third-person action games I have played within the last 20 years. And yet at the same time, however, it feels like I have so much to go until I really untap what the game is really about. Because so much of the game involves interconnecting mechanical expressions that just aren't understood by someone at my skill level. I plateaued in my skill level around December. I haven't seen very much improvement since then. Although I've learned a few things since then, especially from Dale Deer, I haven't really improved as a player overall. I'm not sure if there really is an avenue for improvement. I can continue to play games, and I'm sure over time little bits of muscle memory will gradually integrate. But it may just simply be too late in my life. I may be too old and too set in my ways to really change the things that need to be changed to actually open room for growth. This is why I really need someone who is skilled in coaching and understands the game intimately to really understand what it is I can do to improve. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing more of what we see here. Some trolling, but mostly dying, and dying miserably. That said, it is still quite entertaining, and I've had fun with this game. Also, watching Mucky play can be pretty hilarious.
They might be coming. Oh, they're on me.
Well, there was another team that was on me.
お前たちの命
This is a
の道は
different team
俺が断ち切った
than what we fought before.
These fucking psychos posted to kill me.
Why did you Kylan blow us all? She has no armor. If you got oh, I guess you can't. Yeah.
あなたたちが頭を抱えて逃げ回るのを見る
The other team!
The bounty target was defeated. I'm the top two.
Monkey was gonna kill them 1v3. They were dying. Two of them had great armor. They had nothing. And they were just getting destroyed. And then the other team whopped up and just annihilated. Not all of the experiences with Naraka have been pleasant, however. We have run into some very intriguing teaming and griefing from the STR Strive Guild, in which they organized quick match duos with multiple parties that refused to engage each other, helped each other, and at the end of the game, of course, teamed up on us. This was only after their first group was humbled twice in a row, however, Even a cursory glance at the recording I have of this game is pretty fucking funny. You've got the one group with the challenger that is idling right behind the other group that refuses to engage us while we hang out on the Forbidden Shrine. After all, I only have blue armor at this point. There's not really much point in us fighting until we have the opportunity to third party or wait for the Moru's blessing. Meanwhile, the two SDR groups don't interact with each other whatsoever unless perhaps to exchange items. We have to move off the Forbidden Shrine because of the zone eventually, and they know that. So they just patiently wait, ignoring each other, so that they can 4v2. Unsurprisingly, despite a significant gear disadvantage and the fact I misplayed a lot during this fight, we end up destroying the first group. And then the second group immediately steps in to claim the easy win. This kind of behavior is actually explicitly banned within Naraka, so let's hope that NetEase actually does something about it. All 4 players have been reported, and extensive details have been given about the match, including the videos therein. Even so, it is still a little bit of a bummer to know that despite the fact that the game has an extremely low North American population, a chunk of that population is still full of complete assholes. Third partying and so on is entirely a part of the game. But that's not what was going on here. They went out of their way to make that as blatant as possible. I hope that the non-existent quick match MMR was worth having your accounts banned, because you know if they've done it once, they've probably done it a lot. Even worse than the teaming and griefing, however, is the GPU crashes that have plagued this game since I started it, across a variety of different driver versions. It just doesn't seem to matter. Unity is a real piece of work. Ah, no! Come on! The crashes are entirely random, unrelated to any game settings whatsoever, unrelated to driver version, and the game takes like 5 minutes to restart. So when it happens, you can be sure you've lost the match.
Asuka's dead.
Then you have the heaping piece of shit that is OBS, incapable of being reliable or stable in the near decade I've used it. It will just silently delete the end of recordings for no apparent reason, with no errors in the log at all. So no fewer than 2/3 of the Naraka videos I've recorded in the last few months just ends inexplicably 1 to 5 minutes prior to the recording was actually discontinued. Fantastic. I mean, it's not like OBS has been stable or reliable elsewhere. I miss the days where one could just use Fraps. Of course, Fraps was never updated for basic shit like multi-track recording, so it isn't usable. Well, I suppose that's that. A glimpse into the last month leading up to my 750 hours of Naraka Bladepoint. I've also made a few full games available, and there's quite a lot of other games that are basically just us getting annihilated at the very first fights. Trios is definitely sweatiest of the game types. Trios is extremely sweaty. It's almost as sweaty as Immortal War solos. That's also very sweaty. But let's be honest, the entire game is sweaty. There's extremely few people who are going to stick around with it any longer than an hour or two once they realize it takes actual effort to figure out how to play this. I mean, well, we've all seen what Westerners consider putting effort into things. So at the end of the day, just sticking with it as much as you can. You might learn a thing or two, you might have a few good games, but it's certainly just a lot of pain.
Playing me throughout all that.
What the? You little bitch! The enemy has spotted you.
私が処刑する。
北風が吹き始めました。
Thanks for the purple blue blades.
近くに敵がいるわ。私の視線に注目し
根源完了。風林です。早く戦闘は始まっていますよ。
Lanny's dead.
Other one's dead.
邪魔者は全部排除する。
All that effort just to get murdered.
That felt targeted. We're the baddies.